I know I kept you waiting, but I finally found one. The Epiphone Les Paul Greeny. Look at that beautiful top and the open book headstock. In my video, I'm gonna explain why I think that now is the best time to buy one of these. I'm also gonna tell you why a single specification makes this the best Epiphone Les Paul standard I've tried. I present to you Greeny. Greeny is a part of the artist collection in the Epiphone website. It can be found here in Electric Guitars Artist Collection. I'm gonna quickly walk you through it. There are some new arrivals, including the Joe Bonamassa 1955. It's an interesting guitar that I'm gonna review. I'm gonna ignore the Youngblood signature for now. Dave Grohl I definitely wanna check out. Even though I'm not a fan of the Floyd Bridge, I'm gonna check this one as well. And guess what? I've just bought the Adam Jones 1979 Les Paul Custom, so I'm gonna review it next. Here is Greeny. More interesting stuff down here. The Jared James Nichols. I think I'm gonna find one in the gold finish. I'm gonna do Kirk's 79 Flying V as well, hopefully soon. I did 3 of Adam Jones Art Collection guitars. What else do we have here? Oh, Marty Schwartz. Nice. Then we have Dave Mustaine's Flying V Custom, which I've already reviewed. I'm not interested in the Prophecy. I've tried it and I didn't like it. A friend asked me if I'm gonna review this one. I said maybe. Matt Heafy's signature I'm definitely gonna review. I've already tried both 6 and 7 strings, shockingly thin necks. Some more familiar stuff that I've already reviewed. The Epiphone Les Paul Standard Appetite Burst for Slash, the Vino amazing guitar, check out the review, and the Ghost Horse that I liked. I've reviewed the Control Prophecy as well, and here's the gold Jared James Nichols. Hey, I wanna find the Smurf guitar as well. I'm kidding, this is a Kiss signature of course. Here are the Adam Jones Art Collection guitars. I've did the Frazetta, I've did the VFBs. I got the Jim James signature nearby, maybe I'll check it out as well. And I definitely wanna try the Lazarus. Down here we have the Victoria, which I've already reviewed. And before I show you the Epiphones, I'm gonna go through the Gibson versions. This is the Kirk Hammet Greeny Gibson. It retails for around $3,000 and I'm definitely getting one to compare it to the Epiphone later on. I'm interested to see how Greeny compares to the Slash signatures that I've already owned and tried. Here's the listing for it, and I said affordable because the next guitar that I'm gonna show you is the Custom Shop Murphy Lab version. This is a perfect recreation by the Custom Shop and Murphy Lab. I've recently reviewed a guitar that came out of there. They do an amazing job. Check it out, they've recreated the crack on the headstock as well. For $20,000, yeah, it's a bit steep. But if you think that's expensive, there was also a $50,000 version with Brazilian rosewood that came with Dinner with Kirk. Here's the thing with the Greeny Epiphone. I'm not gonna talk about Peter Green or Kirk Hammett because that's not important when you talk about the Epiphone version. It's not close to the original, I'm sure about that, but it's something way more important. It is crazy good spec. It has so much amazing features like the Greenybucker's USA Gibson pickups. The reverse mounted Greenybucker is an amazing addition to this guitar. One of the softest and best sounding neck pickups I've ever tried. Pair that with the Gibson electronics in the back and the Switchcraft output jack and 3-way switch, you get yourself some serious electronics. This beauty also features a AAA flame maple veneer and an interesting aged gloss finish, which I'm gonna discuss a little later in the video because I have a bit of an issue with it, but you can see how it reacts to the light. It's sort of a satin. In essence, this is a 1959 Les Paul Standard by Epiphone. It also happens to be one of the most expensive guitars that the Chinese factory came up with. It retails for around $1,500. You can find some deals for $1,300. But here in Europe, especially back when it was released a year ago, it used to cost up to 1900, which is steep for a Chinese-made Epiphone, but a single spec makes it special. And it is not the open book headstock, this is just the cherry on top of the cake. The Epiphone Les Paul Standard Greeny features a single piece mahogany neck. And trust me when I say this, it really matters, makes the guitar feel way better than any Epiphone with a 3-piece neck. Except for the Les Paul Custom with the maple neck, but that's a different story for my next review, the Adam Jones. I'm talking about the Les Paul Standards, because a lot of people are considering buying the cheaper version of the Les Paul Standard, the 59 with the Kalamazoo headstock and 3-piece neck, for way cheaper, and then upgrading it with the Greenybuckers. Trust me, it's not gonna be the same. That 1-piece neck matters. The Greeny is the closest an Epiphone ever felt to a Gibson, at least in my opinion. Honestly, if you give this guitar a nitro finish, you will probably fool me. Make no mistake, still feels like an Epiphone, the best Epiphone Les Paul Standard ever made, but the 1-piece neck makes it feel so much better and close to the Gibson. I admit there are some weird choices like the aged gloss finish, the Laurel fingerboard and the mother of pearl inlays, but they are not deal breakers, just make it a bit different. I would rather have the plastic inlays and the rosewood fingerboard, but the Laurel on these guitars is selected pretty well, looks like a rosewood. And get this, even Gibsons don't have a single piece headstocks. Check it out, Greeny is made of 1 piece, doesn't have the wings on the side of the headstock. This guitar is amazing value for the money. And I told you now is the best time to get it, at least in Europe. Thomann has it for $1,300. And no, buying the Greenybuckers and putting it in a $900 Les Paul Standard 59 doesn't make it the Greeny. Even if you get the higher spec Lazarus, you're still not gonna get the Greeny. That 1-piece neck matters. The Greenybuckers are amazing set of pickups by their own though, so if you're considering buying them, I would urge you to do so. I'm in love with the neck pickup. On to matters at hand, the Kirk Hammet Greeny 1959 Les Paul Standard Greeny Burst for $1,500. As you already saw, you can find good deals, probably you'll find them used later on, but at least for now that's what they usually go for. The Epiphone website has photographs of a good example of this guitar. The case photograph here has the incredibly pink lining, the one that I'm reviewing doesn't, which is a good thing. Not that it's bad, but it's a bit too pink for me. The listing for this guitar includes the story, 3 legendary guitars, 1 legendary guitar. I'm not gonna tell you the story of Greeny in this video, I'm gonna save it for the Gibson review. Long story short, the original guitar was first owned by Peter Green, then Gary Moore, and now it's owned by Kirk Hammet. Last but not least, the official specs, a Les Paul body, AAA flame maple veneer, it's made out of mahogany and aged gloss finish. Custom Greeny profile for the neck, we have mother of pearl trapezoid inlays, which is a strange choice, and 1-piece mahogany neck. This is the most important spec for this guitar. It also features a long neck tenon, which I'm gonna show you. Indian Laurel fingerboard, again a weird choice, but nevertheless, a nickel hardware. It has a good bridge, it's not the lock tone bridge, only the lock tone stop bar. Then we have the Gibson USA Greenybucker set, which is amazing. I didn't like the bridge that much, but the neck pickup is totally worth it. The Epiphone Greeny is one of the highest spec Epiphones ever, with the Gibson electronics, Gibson pickups, 1-piece neck and hard shell case. You see where I'm going with this, right? It's an amazing guitar. First things first, some long overdue oil for that dried Laurel fingerboard. For those of you who don't like reading the specs, I'm gonna quickly walk you through them. We have 2-piece mahogany body and what I believe to be a 3-piece maple top and a 2-piece flamed maple veneer AAA. A set of Gibson USA Greenybuckers. We got the Tune-O-Matic Epiphone bridge and the lock tone tailpiece. CTS pots and switchcraft output jack back there. But what's most important, the single most important spec is the 1-piece mahogany neck. No separate heel, no scarf joint, 1-piece that finishes to an open book headstock. Honestly, I wouldn't mind the Kalamazoo headstock, the 1-piece mahogany neck is what's important. What surprised me a bit is the Indian Laurel fingerboard and mother of pearl inlays. The standards usually have acrylic inlays, mother of pearl is for the custom, but anyway. Removing the pickups reveals another spec, which is really good to have a long neck tenon for that one-piece mahogany neck. Some masking tape left here from the factory and some numbers written on the body and some markings. A clearly visible separation line between the mahogany body and the maple top. And as far as I can tell, I see at least 3 pieces of plain maple and then the 2-piece figured maple veneer on top of that. Here it is from another angle. And in the bridge pickup cavity, there's the QR code. And the only place where you will see Kirk Hammet's name on this guitar. We got Kirk Hammet's 1959 Les Paul Greeny. Here's a better look of the routing for the 3-way switch and the pickup cables. Reverse polarity, reverse mounted Gibson USA Greenybucker rhythm pickup. This one was made in 2023. Has the patent applied for or PAF sticker and Gavit conductor wire, which has been covered with this tubing by Epiphone. In the bridge position we have the lead Greenybucker made in 2023 as well. And due to the reverse mounted reverse polarity neck pickup, when you select the middle position we have an out of phase sound. You see the poles are facing towards the bridge. Nickel cover for the pickup, cream pickup rings, slanted. The cable for mine is a bit short, so I'm careful with it. Same cream pickup ring for the bridge pickup. Nickel cover as well. This one is with a normal orientation. The screws for the front pickup are short, for the back pickup are long. The usual control scheme for a Les Paul. We have a cream switch washer with no writings on it and an ivory tip. High quality 3-way switch by Switchcraft. Then we have neck volume, neck tone, bridge volume, bridge tone. A combination of reflector gold top hats and amber top hats. Pretty cool, reminds me of Bonamassa's guitar. And we have dial pointers. And something that is done better with the Gibson guitars is the way these pots follow the curve of the top. You see the bridge controls are much higher than the neck controls. They're not following the curve of the top. The amber top hats are much closer to the body, but that doesn't matter. According to the Greenybucker spec sheet, these pickups are supposed to be around 8.5 k ohms, Audio-Technica 2 magnets. I've selected the bridge Greenybucker and it's 8.76 k ohms. Switching over to the reverse polarity neck, 826 softer, middle position out of phase, 424. The bridge and tailpiece are an interesting situation. You see, I was expecting the lock tone bridge, but this is supposed to mimic the ABR1 bridges. It has the thumb wheels, it has the struts, but it doesn't go directly into the body, it has metal inserts. You can adjust these by a flathead screwdriver, but it's not so much visible as the usual lock tone. Individual saddles held by a spring, pretty much looks like the lock tone, but it has the thinner struts. Looks and feels pretty good, it weighs 50 grams. Now for the tailpiece, we have the usual situation for Epiphone, the lock tone locking tailpiece with the Epiphone logo on the bottom side. This is pretty heavy. I suspect it will weigh around 70 grams. Before we move on to the neck, I want to discuss the body and especially the finish. You see, the Greeny features the so-called worn gloss finish, which is in essence satin feeling. And it happens to be one of the few things I don't like about this guitar. Luckily there's a fix to that. You can easily polish it with some paste and use some more pressure to it, and it's gonna start looking like worn nitro. I'm gonna link a video above for a 1959 Les Paul standard to check it out. In it you can see the result of such procedure. The body features cream binding, which has been nicely smoothed and rounded off, and I like the way that the 2 pieces AAA flame maple veneer has been matched. Looks pretty good in person. The neck situation is where Greeny absolutely shines, and in my opinion is much better than any 3-piece mahogany neck on an Epiphone. Just a single piece mahogany, no heel, no scarf joint for the headstock. I've seen a lot of video reviews of Greeny so far, and I'm surprised how little credit is given to this specification, the single piece neck. On top of that, it also features a long neck tenon. I'm gonna give you the full neck specifications in a minute, but again, I cannot stress but enough how important this is. It's the middle ground between the affordable Epiphones and the Gibson. It feels close to a Gibson. Cream binding, black side dots. The fingerboard specs were also a surprise for me. This is Indian Laurel. I was expecting rosewood. and these are mother of pearl inlays. Usually Les Paul standards have plastic inlays, acrylic or other material, but I rarely see mother of pearl on anything other than Les Paul Custom. You see, here's the thing, 50s Les Paul standards didn't have mother of pearl, the reissues don't have mother of pearl, so why do we see it on a Greeny? The only explanation I can think of is that the Adam Jones 79, the Gibson Les Paul Custom one-piece neck version all have mother of pearl inlays, and this division of the Epiphone factory that makes the open book headstock maybe was supplied with mother of pearl for all of these guitars. We got them anyway and they look great, but instead of mother of pearl I would prefer rosewood fingerboard, although this Indian laurel is dark in color and looks pretty close to rosewood. I don't know, it's a bit of a weird situation. Let me know what you think about it. Do you like mother of pearl on standards? It's time for a bit of a rant. These are 22 medium jumbo frets, and like every Epiphone for the past 5 years that I've reviewed, it needs a bit of a fretwork, and the nut is especially bad. So I've advised the owner of this guitar to either get it fixed or replace it with bone nut, and it will greatly improve the feel of it. The biggest selling point for a lot of people though is the open book headstock. The headstock features this black veneer which also has the worn gloss finish, and actually the open book headstock was Epiphone's trademark back in the past. Later on Gibson adopted it, so it's not that Epiphone is using a Gibson headstock, it's the other way around, but yeah. There are however some differences in the tuner placement and the truss rod cover. You see we still have the 2-ply Epiphone truss rod cover with the 3 screws. I don't mind it though, I don't need the bell truss rod cover from a Gibson on this guitar. And that's an interesting design of the 2 layers, I've never seen one like this. And to be honest, I like how it sits on this headstock. It's held in place by these 3 tiny screws. Dual action truss rod, and I had to adjust it on this guitar, it was never touched. Here's another look at that glorious open book headstock. Honestly, I like the Kalamazoo headstock, but I don't mind having this one as well. The nut is 1.69 inch wide or 43 millimeters. The 5th fret is at 1.87 inch or 47.6 millimeters. The 12th fret is at 52.2 mm or 2.05 inches. Thickness at the 1st fret, it's a chunky boy at 23.2 mm or almost an inch. The 5th fret is at 24 mm or 0.94 inch. And a massive 26 mm or over an inch 12th fret thickness. The 2nd thickest neck I've documented. Almost a full body thickness, I think it's a bit thinner because of the worn finish. Has a bit less poly than usual. Distance between the pickups 2.29 inches. No surprises with the radius, 12 inches and the 24.75 inch scale length. This is what the custom Greeny neck profile looks like, nice and rounded off C-shape. Again, keep in mind that this is one of the thickest neck I've ever documented. Natural finish for the back of the guitar reveals a 2-piece mahogany body. I like the fact that Epiphone didn't use a veneer back here and allow us to see the wood grain. Nicely rounded off edges and seems to be a good work back here. The electronics compartment allows us to see the actual color of the mahogany. There's some stains here from the staining process of the back. I'm not sure what happened here. Let's look at the electronics. We have CTS pots for the volume and tone, and then we have Mallory capacitors instead of orange drops. I was expecting the orange drops to be honest, but these work good as well. Epiphone are calling this 50s wiring, but honestly with all the mess back here I don't recognize anything. I guess it works, so it doesn't matter. And this is the cover for the electronics compartment. What I do like is the fact that they've included a high grade, high quality Switchcraft 3-way switch, here's the cover for it, and a Switchcraft output jack. Usually they put the cheap Epiphone stuff in here, but for Greeny they went with the good stuff, so I'm glad they did that. So you don't have to upgrade the 3-way switch, you don't have to upgrade the output jack, the electronics in the back are okay, the pickups are amazing. I'm so used to telling you what you should upgrade when reviewing Epiphones that I am a bit surprised that I have almost nothing to tell you here. A proper setup, some fretwork and fix the nut maybe, and you're good to go. You have a perfectly functional, high quality instrument. This is simply the best Epiphone Les Paul standard I've reviewed. I've tell you that already. Great value for money. Here's the electronics compartment from another angle so you can see the output jack cavity. I actually do like the aged gloss finish on the back. The sides are okay as well. The binding here on the high fret axis cutaway is fine. Everything seems to be in order. Here's what the back looks like with the covers in place and strap button here and one over here. I'm gonna say it again, I cannot stress but enough how important this feature is, the single piece mahogany neck. The first time I took Greeny out of the box and strummed a couple of chords, it immediately felt much better than any Epiphone I've played before. Except for the 1979 Adam Jones that I'm gonna review soon. It has 3 pieces maple neck like the 79 actual guitar and the Veil of Beast Adam Jones art collection in general. But they are different guitars, they are custom, this is standard, so this is simply the best Les Paul standard because of that single piece neck. No heel joint here, one piece all the way from here to the end of the headstock, no scarf joints. Since this is the first guitar from Epiphone with a single piece neck that I am reviewing, I was inspecting it under a microscope and I found out that the headstock is a single piece as well. You see, usually Gibsons are made out of 3 pieces for the headstock. You have the center mahogany piece and the mahogany wings. In this case, Epiphone are wasting a bit of material because you see they have to cut this from a single piece mahogany and they're losing some material on the sides. The aged gloss finish feels good back here. And again, I'm stressing that this is a chunky neck. What else do we have here on the back of the headstock? Handcrafted in China sticker and the serial number 240315. 15 means skinned out Chinese factory and March of 2024 and a cool number at the end. And I'm not sure what IGC stands for, I have to check this out. We have Grover tuners, I think it's 18:1 ratio. Those buttons remind me of another guitar, let's see. Here's Adam Jones's Queen Bee, and the tuners are not the same, but I think the buttons are indeed the same. Since the bee is out of the hive, let me show you a couple of differences. First of all, this is the Kalamazoo headstock compared to the open book. And check out the difference between the inlays. These are acrylic, the 79 features the mother of pearl, these are mother of pearl. Much more reflective, and speaking of reflective, high gloss finish versus aged gloss. Notice something else, both of these guitars feature a reverse mounted neck pickup. Unfortunately, as usual with Epiphone guitars, the factory setup was practically non-existent, so I'm gonna set it up with 1046 Elixir OptiWeb strings. I'm gonna adjust the truss rod, the string height, the bridge intonation, the height of the tailpiece I've raised a little bit to get the strings a little bit slinkier. Before putting on the strings, I'm gonna apply some tune-it paste in the nut. Also, I'm gonna leave the strings longer. I'm gonna do some extra winds around the tuning heads because I'm assuming my friend, the owner of this guitar, is gonna take them off to do a bit of a fretwork and maybe replace the nut with a bone one. Elixir strings have long life and he's gonna try to save them. Luckily, I'm gonna leave some more winds and it's easy to do with the locking tailpiece. A bit of a weird positioning of both E-string tuners. The next 2 strings after them are too close to the tuning heads of the E, low E and high E strings. As you can see, no matter how much winds I do on the tuner, they almost touch. They don't touch, but they almost touch, so weird positioning. As I mentioned, the setup was non-existent out of the box. There was absolutely no relief to the neck. I had to adjust the truss rod, I had to adjust the string height, accordingly the pickup height as well. I had to intonate. I'm assuming since Epiphone is a more affordable brand and the wood is not selected like with the Gibson and not dried enough during transport and on shop walls, the factory setup gets out of whack anyway. Here's what the box looks like and check out the label. Greeny? Question marks. Are you not sure? Here's what the original hard shell case looks like. Beautifully stitched, brown, and has this satin finished hinges and latches. One, the leather handle, which is nice and thick. The locking latch, one more here and one more in the back. The case also features the Epiphone and Inspired by Gibson Custom Shop collaboration logo. Here's what the bottom side looks like with the supports, and when we open it up, remember that I told you that this is nowhere near as pink as shown in the pictures. Here it is on natural sunlight just to confirm that. It's pretty nice actually, Epiphone leather handle and the accessories compartment. I'm gonna show you these in a minute. Some silica gel, made in China label, and the key for the case. We've seen these stickers on almost every inspired by Gibson Epiphone. Gibson strings for this particular guitar. You got some stickers. This is the warranty card with the QR code on the bottom. The Gibson app. I haven't yet tried this one. I gotta give it a try sometime. Some more stickers and the big one. Greeny seems to be in the sweet spot for Les Paul standard, which is between 3,900 and 4,200. Now let's hear it. I was having some tuning issues, even though the guitar was in tune and properly intonated. I think it's because of the elixir strings. When you're playing power chords on the 6 strings, sometimes they do that. I've had intonation issues with elixir nano-webs, especially on other Les Paul guitars, even Gibson Customs. Should you buy this guitar? Well, there are a couple of aspects to it. If you're a Kirk fan, I don't consider this to be a Kirk Hammett signature. Greeny is an icon by itself, it just changes hands. I mean the original Gibson guitar. There are two important things that you have to consider before going for the Epiphone. It's one of the most expensive ever produced by them, and it has the thickest neck. It is the second thickest next to the 57 Les Paul custom reissue by Gibson that I've reviewed. So if you don't like chunky necks, stay away from it. If you're not a fan of the satin finish, this can be fixed with a polish. We're gonna see this Greeny again when I buy the Gibson. Hopefully the owner is gonna polish it by then and it's gonna look like a worn nitro. The one-piece neck and the Greenybuckers are what make this guitar. Trust me when I say you don't just buy the cheaper 59 Les Paul standard with a 3-piece neck, put some Greenybuckers and get Greeny. I mean, yeah, it will probably sound the same, especially recorded, but you're not gonna get the same feeling from that one-piece neck. Honestly, when Epiphone came out with the open book headstocks and single piece necks for the Les Paul Custom, for the Adam Jones with the 3-piece maple, and for this, for the Greeny, and a couple of other Les Paul standards, I was surprised. The price tag was no surprise though. So here's the thing, it's great value for money, even if you get it for 1,500. If you get it for anything above that price tag, it's a bit steep, but still okay. If you manage to find a good deal for around $1,300, it's an absolute steal. Of course, as many others by Epiphone, this isn't a perfect guitar. For example, I would have gone with rosewood fingerboard and plastic inlays instead of the laurel and mother of pearl. The nut should be done way better, the factory setup was non-existent. Most of these guitars require a bit of fretwork. Last but not least, I want to thank my friend Vladi for giving me the opportunity to review this wonderful guitar. Your Greeny is fantastic, man. Enjoy it.